Welcome back, everybody. Today I'm back with a product which is the #1 bestseller in its category, and that is these, which is a pair of headphones. But these don't go in your ear or over your ear. These resonate sound directly into your skull. These are bone conduction headphones. I've had a few requests for these over the last couple years. I'm finally getting around to them. These are the Shokz Open Run bone conduction headphones, and that's today's video. I unboxed them yesterday, and here's how that went. All right, let's take a look at these Shokz Open Run headphones. I paid $129.95 on Amazon, where it's currently the #1 best-selling open ear headphones with a 4.6 star rating among nearly 20,000 ratings. Warranty card, very important. Some instructions, some other papers. Looks like a charging cable. They claim it's an 8th generation bone conduction headphone, more comfortable than earbuds or headphones, and allows you to hear the sounds of your surroundings. IP67 waterproof, lightweight, secure fit. People on Amazon who like this, a lot of people like the fact that you can hear your surroundings. They also like that you can avoid shoving the earbuds right into your ears. People online who didn't like it, some people said the buttons were hard to navigate, while others said this kind of headphone just doesn't sound as good as other types. All right, so I read over the instructions, I charged them up, and here's a few more observations. There is a button right here which you can press for. One press is for play or pause, 2 presses is for next song, 3 for the previous song. On this side, you've got 2 buttons, which is volume up and down, and this one can also be used to turn on or off and to pair the Bluetooth. So the way I understand bone conduction to work is that it transmits the sound directly through the bones of your skull, directly to the inner ear. It bypasses your eardrum. That can be useful to some people with certain hearing problems. What's also nice about it is it leaves your ears open so you can hear the sounds around you. If you're out jogging or walking around, it can actually be a more safe way to listen to music. But the only problem is supposedly this has a reduced quality of music, which I'm going to find out in just a second. I have just paired this with my phone, and now I'm going to try it on for the first time. In honor of a concert I'm going to this week, I'm going to put on a Shinedown song and see how it sounds. This is my first time ever using bone conduction headphones. I've heard about these for years. I've never used them before, so here we go. Well, it feels comfortable. It feels actually pretty comfortable. I can still hear everything normally, even though they're in front of my ears. Here we go. Playing for the first time. Turn it up a little bit here. All right, so my first impression is it is very mid-rangey. I can hear everything fine, but there is definitely a mid-range to it. Let me turn up a little bit. I'm going to turn up with the volume control here. Well, it's loud now. And there's a vibration. It's vibrating. I don't know if you can hear any of this or not. I guess I'll find out when I edit the video. When I turn it up loud, my ears there's a vibration, it's weird. All right, I've got that pause. The music is definitely mid-rangey. I guess there's certain limitations of what you can do as far as just blast into the inner ear. Let me put on some spoken audio and see how that sounds. I'm listening to myself speak here. My first observation is that everything is pretty mid-rangey. The bass and the treble are kind of not really there. But I do like the fact that I can still hear everything in the room. I don't feel like I'm blocked off from everything, so it's kind of a trade-off. I also like the comfort level. I've never been a fan of having earbuds stuck in my ears because I just don't like that feeling. And even when you put the headphones over them, they kind of get sweaty. This doesn't seem like it's going to cause you one of those problems, so I kind of like that. So the first thing I think I'm going to do is I'm going to go take a walk, and because I take walks every single night and I have my earbuds in. I don't really like the feeling of walking around not being able to hear cars and bicycles around, so this might be better than that. So I'm going to try that and come back and let you know how it went. Kind of a real world situation here. I've been listening to both music and a podcast while walking around out here. I kind of like the fact that I can hear cars around, bicyclists coming behind me, I won't get run over. So, I mean, the music quality really isn't that great compared to regular earphones, earbuds. But on the other hand, maybe you take a little bit of a sacrifice in quality for safety. Now, as far as a podcast goes, the quality is perfectly acceptable for that. The range where people speak is pretty much right in the range that these deliver to your ears anyway. So it's really good for podcasts. It's okay for music. Good for safety though. I have found that the button on this side where you can use to skip songs or go back and forth, that one's kind of hard to find. I can't even find it half the time. The volume button over here seems much easier to find. And there's a big truck coming behind me, and I can hear it because I have these on instead of my other headphones. One more interesting thing I kind of noticed while walking around, when I turn the volume up, it kind of tingles. It vibrates the outside of my ear. It's almost like a little ear massage. It's not uncomfortable. It's just different. Different experience for sure, but I kind of like it. It's almost like having 4 ears. I can hear 2 for the outside and 2 for the music or the podcast. It's different. I should point out, when I first got this, I saw all these instructions. I thought, oh, I'm in trouble now. But really, there's only like 4 panels in English. The rest of it's different languages. So really, the instructions look like they're a lot more than they really are. I think what I do now is try the controls, because suppose you can play, pause, go forward and backward. Some people online were saying those are kind of touchy. Let's see. 1 button press should be pause. It paused. Oh, that's good. Another press should be play. And that worked too. Now let's go for the trickier stuff. Let's do 2 taps to the next song. Ah, it went to the next song. It went to the next song. Let me try going to the previous song now. That'd be 3 taps. That went to the next song and then paused it. I went 3. I have to go 3 maybe quicker? Ah, 3 has to be pretty quick. No, I went forward again. Went backward. I did it. Yeah, the 3 is kind of touchy. Seemed like pause and play were no problem. Going to the next track was no problem. Going backwards seems a bit touchy. That may not be a big deal, but it seems a little bit touchy. So what I want to do next is give you kind of a simulation of how it sounds. I can't really record them, but I can give you an idea of what I'm hearing. So what I did was I sat down on my computer, I went back and forth between the bone conducting earphones and my speakers, and I tried to EQ the audio track as best I could. So first up, let me play my control audio track without any EQ applied to it, and here's how that sounds. All right, so next up here is the EQ'd version, which closely matches what I hear through these headphones. And if you're curious, here are the EQ settings I use to achieve that. As you can see, I lose a lot of the lows, I lose some highs. So once again, your listening goals will dictate if that's important to you or not. If you're listening to podcasts, doesn't really matter. Music, it might matter. Unless you're worried about safety, unless you're worried about listening to your surroundings, then it won't matter as much. Now, battery-wise, it supposedly lasts about 8 hours, but I don't know how long it takes to fully charge. So I'm gonna let these drain and then see how long it takes to completely charge them up. Speaking of charging, I should also point out that the charging cable, it looks like a proprietary connection, which I'm not fond of that. There it is. It is magnetic, which I kind of like that aspect of it. It just kind of snaps on there. But I'm not a fan of proprietary cables, and that does look proprietary to me. So if you lose the cable, I guess you got to buy another one. Anyways, so let me drain the batteries in this and see how long it takes to charge back up. I finally depleted the battery. Let's charge it up and see how long it takes. Attaching the adapter to the unit itself. We have the red light. We are charging. I'll come back and let you know how long it took. All right, look at this. Right at the 1 hour mark, it just turned blue. So it took right exactly an hour to fully charge it up from dead to full, and that will last about 8 hours. So 1 hour charging for 8 hours of use, I think it's pretty good actually. I was curious if you could use this in bed, and you kind of can. On your side, it's actually pretty comfortable. On your back, just kind of a gap. It's not comfortable. It's pushing it forward, pushing my ears forward. Look at this. That's not good. So you can use it in bed as long as you're on your side. The other open ear product I tested in recent years was the Ray-Ban Stories. Now they operate a little bit differently. They actually have tiny speakers that direct the sound right over your ear. It's pretty discreet. People around you really can't hear too much, but they can hear it more than the bone conduction earphones. But let me just compare the quality here real quick. All right, I'm listening to some Smokey Robinson with the Ray-Ban Stories. Let me see. And once again, there's not a lot of bass. There's some more high end though. And once again, this sound is going into my ear rather than stimulating the inner ear bone. Let's switch over to these and see how they sound in comparison. All right, I'm listening to these now. I expected there to be a bigger difference, and there wasn't. The Ray-Ban Stories might have a little bit more high. Neither one of them have much low, but honestly, these have a little bit better mid-range, so it's kind of a wash. The biggest difference to me is that these are associated with Facebook, and a lot of people don't want that association. Not only that, but you can't use these indoors unless you want to wear sunglasses inside. These you can. One feature that's not really highlighted is that they actually have a microphone. You can actually take phone calls. I'm currently on a phone call with my other phone inside. I'll let you hear how it sounds from the phone and from these, and you can see the difference. So here we go. I'm speaking through my phone's actual microphone. It should sound nice and clear as it's going to sound through a normal telephone. Let me switch over to the headset and see how that sounds. Now I'm speaking through the headset. How does that sound? Is it clear? Is it clearer? Probably not clearer. It might be nearly as clear. And I'm impressed by the fact that there's a microphone behind your mouth that still picks it up. So I'll go inside and see how it sounds, but I think it's going to sound pretty good. You know, the first time I ever heard about bone conduction was way back in around 1980. There was an as seen on TV product called the Bone Phone. Now, it wasn't really a phone, it was actually an AM/FM radio. And it didn't use the technology of stimulating the bones to the inner ear. It actually just wrapped around your neck and I guess just vibrated that way. Apparently the sound quality wasn't that great, but they were onto something even back then. But speaking of sound quality, these are not really the most high fidelity earphones you're going to get out there, but that's not really the point. I think for people that are hiking, jogging, active at work, they want to have some sort of a background sound like a podcast or music, and they also want to hear the sounds around them, it's perfect for that. If you're looking for a high fidelity experience for music, this is not going to be it. I will say I think the phone feature is kind of underrated. The sound quality is pretty good. I think that most people can't tell a huge difference between using these and using the actual phone itself. So I think it's a pretty good option for people that want to maybe take some phone calls, be active, listen to some music in the background. But that's all I've got. If you've tried some bone conducting earphones like these, tell me what you think in the comments below. I appreciate you watching, and I'll see you next time. I will say though that there's a fly out here. Man, those flies are huge.